Dear students, welcome back to the fourth week of the course Digital Marketing Strategy. So, the fourth week would be dedicated on two different topics. The first two lectures primarily will be talking about digital consumers, and the rest three lectures we would be talking about display advertisement. So, it is before we actually start discussing different digital channels, we need to have an understanding about how the consumer behaves, because how the consumer behaves will actually define what marketing channels mix would be. So, unless and until we do not know who are the digital consumers, unless and until we do not know what are their striking characteristics, we are not in a position to actually frame the marketing channel mix for targeting these consumers. Also, a very important aspect that we need to understand is their behavior. So, what is consumer behavior, how does it get affected, and how does technology is playing an important role in shaping the consumer behavior. Will be covering all these aspects in this particular lecture. So, let us start and let us discuss about digital consumer behavior. So, before we actually start discussing about the behavior, we need to understand who are the digital consumers. So, digital consumers are the people who use digital technology to buy and sell products or services online. So, digital customers are those people who include existing subscribers or any individuals that engage with the brand digitally without making a purchase. So, it is not always necessary that a customer who is actually buying the product would be a digital consumer. A digital consumer would be anyone who is visiting to your say landing website, to your social media account, to your social media channels. So, for example, he is there and he is browsing the information, he is reading the recommendation and reviews, he is going through the contents you have uploaded on your channels. So, even if he is using those informations from your website, he would be considered as a digital consumer. For example, for a sense, if you try to understand, even if you are watching these video lectures on your mobile phone or on your desktop, you are also be called as digital consumers, because you are also taking information from this video, right. So, digital consumers is a very broad term, and the traditional consumers with the advent of internet is basically they have transformed into digital consumers. To digital consumers, in comparison to their counterpart traditional consumers or the offline consumers, are more diverse in nature, and they have a very different characteristics in comparison to the offline consumers or the traditional consumers. So, a digital consumer may be a website consumer, a social media user, or a mobile consumer, or an email consumer. So, through any touch points, if he is interacting with your brand, if he is interacting with your company, so he would be considered as a digital consumer. So, it is a matter of fact that he may or may not actually purchase the product, but that does not disqualify him to be called as the digital consumer, because digital consumer is a very comprehensive understanding about the concept of consumer. So, as I was talking about that digital consumers, they have certain striking characteristics which differentiate them from their offline counterparts or from their traditional consumers. So, first obviously is they are more tech savvy. So, digital consumers, they are more tech savvy, they are very comfortable, rather they are a sort of professional in handling mobile phones, smartphones, interactive TV and social media. So, they are more tech savvy, they have good knowledge about the technology, they are expert in exploiting various websites, social media apps, shopping apps and so on. So, basically they are aware about the digital technology, and also they are accustomed to use of the technology. Since they are exposed to different channels, they are exposed to internet or world wide web, which is itself in itself is something like the whole universe, right, is the whole universe of information. So obviously the person, a digital consumer, would be more informed, he would be more connected. So with the advent of social media, now people are more connected on their social media accounts in comparison to their offline lives, in their physical life. So they might have a very handful of friends in their actual physical life in comparison to the digital friends he or she has created in their social media accounts. So since they are more active, also they are more active on their social media, they are more connected with the social media users, and that opens the door for lots of information, lots of participative queries, cross queries, discussions, reviews, recommendations. So the point I want to make is, nowadays the customers, the social media users, the digital consumers to be specific, are more connected and more participative. Also they are less impulsive. So when I say less impulsive, it means since these customers, since these digital customers are more aware about the situation, they are more informed, they know the actual status, they are less impulsive. It is contrary to the belief, it is usually said that on online platforms we usually buy more, or since it is very comfortable and people don't understand, they are actually not spending the physical money and it gets deleted from their account, so people don't understand and they spend more. That is true to one aspect, but we need to understand the other aspect also, that they become less impulsive because they have clarity in the information. They know that these discounts, though they are so appealing, they will come again, or they have these hidden aspects. So they are more informed, they are more informed about the product and features. They don't get excited by seeing the advertisement. They will go and look for the recommendations, they will go and look for the reviews, they will go for word of mouth marketing and so on. So nowadays the customers, they have more avenues for seeking the information, and that is why they get less impulsive by these promotional messages or by this promotional advertisement and so on. That is why it is being understood that the digital consumers are less impulsive. Also they are more demanding. So by more demanding, as in these digital consumers, they want everything on their tip of their hand. So they want it immediately. So if you don't serve them, if you don't handle their queries immediately, there is a chance that they move to your competitor. So digital consumers, they since they are shopping and wandering through one website to another website 24/7, so it becomes very imperative to understand that they are more demanding, they give immediate, they want something in very immediate sense. So that makes them more volatile, and as well as it is very challenge for the companies to understand the digital consumers. Since they are more demanding, obviously they have less patience. So we have to understand this, that impulsive buying and having less patience is two different things. So when we say less patience, as in, if for example if you write something, if you want to if some product is not available, so what you will do, you will immediately search for another product and you will go and you will match with and you will compare with that and you will immediately buy it. For example, if some product is not available on the store, what you will do, you will immediately go and you will buy some other product digitally, or you can compare with some other product and you buy the. So the point is, they are less patient and they are easy, they are more frequent in moving from one product to another product, unless and until you make them loyal customers or something like that. So also they are more rational, obviously, because since they are more informed and more connected, they have more and more informations, that makes them more rational. Also they have an opportunity to compare, so they compare different products, they compare different features, they compare prices, they compare the ratings and reviews, and thereafter they actually buy the product. That is what is mentioned in the last point, that they search for reviews or opinions before actually buying the product. So when you see this, you will find that these are the unique characteristics that the consumer have when they shop online, or the digital consumers, they have these unique characteristics in comparison to the offline or the traditional consumers. we need to understand one more aspect, as in what is the level of technology adoption a digital consumer is having. So, there are 5 different levels of the technology acceptance or technology adoption. So, depending upon the level in which a consumer is, you as a digital marketer have to frame your marketing tactics, your marketing strategies in such a way that you can target each of them separately. So, you need to have a different marketing strategy for different digital consumers having different levels of technology adoption. So, the 5 stages of technology adoption are: first is the innovators. So, innovators are the enthusiastic, risk taker and not bothered about the failure. They are the first takers of innovation. So, whatever happens, whatever a new product comes into the market, a new technology comes into the market, before actually it being a very popular thing, or before it actually being completely commercialized, before it is having some reviews and recommendation, they want it to buy it and they want to test it by their own. So, they are the first movers, I would say. So, they are having very enthu. Also, they are ready to take the risk. Since the product is new, the innovation is new, no one knows whether the product is going to sustain or not, but still they take a chance and they will buy the product, and they are not bothered about the failures. Even if the product fails, even if their decision fails, they are not bothered about it, and they will move to some other products, some other digitally innovative products they will move. Similarly, there are early adopters. So, they are in comparison to innovators, they are less risk takers, rather I would say they are taking risk after thorough calculations. They are persuasive and they are concerned about their reputations. Though they are risk takers, but they do not want to fail, they are more concerned about their reputations. But they are the people who adopt the digital technology. They will buy the product which is digitally innovative in comparison to the rest of the people and innovators. They will buy it after innovators says okay, or they will buy it if there is a few recommendations or few uses, they will buy it, they will take the calculated risk. Then this is the early majority. So, we need to understand, so this is something like this is inverted bell shaped curve. So, innovators they fall here, early adopters fall here, and then this is the majority chunk. So, these are the early majority, and then we have got the late majorities. So, these are the late majorities and these are the laggards. So, this is how these are the innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority and laggards. So, this is how you can actually graphically present this. So, early majority are the people who are more rational, they did their research before actually adopting the product, before actually buying the product, and they go with the reviews and recommendations given by the early adopters. They see whether the product has been well established in the market or not, whether people are saying good about the product or not, whether the product is successful or not. But they are in the majority lot who actually are buying the product. For example, the smart TV, then a smart watch, the smart watch. So, smartwatch sale, it was something like this, movement was like this, right. So, even the smart TV or the speakers who work on your voice, right. So, all those products are very useful, and also people have started adopting it, right. So, nowadays early majority are adopting those things. And then there are a late majority who are very cautious and they are the risk avoiders. They only when the innovation have matured and when everyone have almost majority of the people are having the technology, they are the someone who who are, I would say, rather than late majority, they are the late adopters, right. So, they are the late adopters who actually, once it is well established in the market, then they buy it. And then there are people, laggards, they are resistant to change, they don't want to accept any new innovation in their product. They are satisfied with the traditional technology or the technology they have at that point of time, and they are skeptical about any innovation or something like that. So they don't want to upgrade, or they don't want to accept some new innovation. So depending upon the consumer psychology, depending upon where the consumer is right now. For example, as a digital marketer, you will have a different marketing strategy for early adopters in comparison to late adopters. So different technology adopters will have different marketing strategies. Then only you can customize marketing according to their characteristics, and accordingly you can make your marketing decisions. Since now we are understood, we have a good understanding about who are the digital consumers and what are their characteristics, let us now discuss their behavior. So consumer behavior is a well established theory, is a well established body of knowledge, and there is a lot of research being done in that area of consumer behavior. So when we talk about marketing, consumer behavior is a well researched, and it's a very important aspect, very important component of marketing. So I would rather say that marketing is incomplete without understanding the consumer behavior. Unless and until we don't have understanding about the consumer behavior, what are the characteristics, what are their psyche, how do they perceive anything, and how do they take purchase decisions, unless and until we don't have understanding about the consumer behavior, we will not be in a position to actually frame the marketing strategy. So if we want to frame the marketing strategy, we need to understand consumer behavior. So consumer behavior consists of knowing how consumers' emotions, attitudes, preferences and learnings affect their action and decision for choosing, buying, using and disposing the products and services. So consumer behavior is a very comprehensive definition. See, we need to understand the consumer's emotions, we need to understand the consumer's attitude, their preferences, their learning. So since there are many emotional advertisements. So if you remember the advertisement of Surf Excel and all, so they are very emotional advertisements. So there they don't highlight their product so much, but still they try to position that the emotion, they try to trigger that emotion and position their product in your minds. So we need to understand their emotions. We also need to understand their attitude about any particular product, about any brand. So we have to have a clear understanding about all these, then only we would be in a position to understand what is going to be their action, what is going to be their decision while choosing a product, while buying a product, while using a product and while disposing the product. So understanding consumer behavior is very imperative for any business. So it is imperative for any business to have understanding about the consumer behavior so as to design effective marketing plan and strategy. So if we want to design the effective marketing plan and strategy, we need to have understanding about the consumer behavior. So the behavior is digital consumer are drastically different from the offline consumers. Since we have seen in the previous slide the characteristics of the digital consumers. So the digital consumers, they have totally different set of characteristics in comparison to the offline consumers. So that is why the behavior of digital consumers would be drastically different. So since the digital customers are more informed, more connected, have varied options for purchasing products, so they have different avenues for buying the products, right. So for digital marketers, it is the key to understand how their customers think, act and interact with the brand. So for digital marketers, it becomes very important to understand how is their behavior online, how they are interacting with different digital marketing channels, and what is your, as a company, what is your online presence, whether you are present everywhere where the consumers demand. So you need to understand that, then only you can actually hit the psyche of the consumer, then only you are in a position to understand the needs and desire of the consumers, and you can plan the marketing strategy as per their requirement. So this is very important, consumer decision model. and this is a very classical model, and it is very important and very interesting to discuss this. This is a very detailed one within a small image. A lot of things have been a lot of information have been put into this one image, and I have taken this from Kotler and Keller, published by Pearson. So, this is the whole process of consumer decision, and this is called consumer decision model. So, there are different things like the stimuli, the consumer psychology and consumer characteristics, buying decision process, and the purchase decisions, right. So, let us start. So, any consumer behavior, it starts from stimuli. So, stimuli is something which comes across the mind of the consumer, which actually begins or which actually starts the need of the product, right. So, it could be that stimuli can generate either through the marketing efforts being done by the customers. For example, if you see an ad, immediately it will come to your mind that okay, I need this because I am facing this problem or I have this requirement, so I will buy this. So, that advertisement have created that stimuli. So, the product and services will create that, the prices, the distribution, the communication. So, all these things will create a stimuli or a mindset about any product. Similarly, there are other stimuli also like economical, technological, political, cultural. So, all these, so informations and stimuli can come from any direction. Now, that stimuli is modified and it is affected by the consumer psychology and consumer characteristics. So, consumer psychology is the overall psyche or the overall thought process of the consumers. So, they are the motivation, perception, learning and memory. So, there are different motivation models are there. If you remember, there are Maslow need hierarchy, which talks about 5 hierarchy of motivation. Then we have Henry Mintzberg's 2-factor theory, then theory X, theory Y, then we have William Auchi's theory Z. So, there are different theories of motivation, which talks that how our desire changes with the time. And for example, if we take the example of Maslow's need hierarchy, it says that these are the physiological needs, then these are the physiological needs, safety needs, social needs, then interactive needs, and then is the self actualization needs, right. So, all these needs somehow define what is the current need of the customer. So, for example, if a customer is at the lower pyramid, then here he would be more interested in the physiological needs like food, clothing, house, something like that, and then he will talk about safety needs. So, where he will be buying the insurance, he will be doing some safety products he will buy, he will have insurance, and he will have bank accounts, something like that. Then so on, we have social needs and all these aspects. So, motivation plays a very important role in defining that what consumer will actually buy. Similarly, perception, how do they perceive about the product, what are the learnings a customer is having from his childhood to being an adult. So, what are the learnings he has, what are the experiences the person has, also the memory, whatever memory he has about anything, about any product, about any scenario, something like that. Also, the individual consumer characteristics also plays a very important role about the cultural upbringing, the social infrastructure, the personal demographics like age, gender, all those things, income. So, all this is going to affect the consumer buying behavior. So, ultimately the consumer will come to the buying decision process, where he will first move for program recognition, where he will identify that need, the problem has emerged and there is some need of the product. Then he will go for from problem recognition to information search. He will try to find, okay, I have this problem, how I am going to solve it, how I am going to resolve it. So, he will go for searching information about it, and in information search this digital platform, digital channels plays a very important role. So once he has jot down, then for example I have to make this PPT, so I need a computer. So the problem is I don't have a computer, but I have to make a PPT. So I have identified that I need a computer. So after that I will start searching for laptops, for example. So I thought, okay, I will not buy a computer, I will buy a laptop. So I will shortlist different brands depending upon their characteristics, price and so on. So after that I will evaluate each of the alternatives, okay, on the basis, maybe on the basis of price, maybe on the basis of features, maybe on the basis of overall look, anything, or the performance. So after that I will finally decide, okay, I will buy this particular brand of laptop. Then that is basically the purchase decisions. So purchase decisions, when we take purchase decisions, there are a lot of things that we do. We choose the product, we choose the brand, we choose from where we are going to buy, that is the dealer, what would be the purchase amount, what would be the purchase time, when I am going to buy, and how I am going to pay. So all these decisions basically summarizes the purchase decisions. So after that, what is my post purchase behavior, whether I am satisfied or not, whether I will recommend it or not, something like that. So all this is a very comprehensive consumer decision model, and it has a very important role in whenever we need to understand the consumer behavior. It plays a very important role. This model plays the very foundational role in understanding the consumer. Moving ahead, this concept, the zero moment of truth, this is developed by Google. So whenever the consumer is going to search for information, so there is a first moment of truth where he buys, when the customer sees a product on the shelf. Then there is a second moment of truth when he actually uses the product. So the Google says that even before that, when actually the person is searching for the product, so he get exposed to the various information about it. So that is the zero moment of the truth. So the moment of the truth is the touch points of consumers and the brand while the consumers goes through consumer's journey. So it is the point when the consumer search for information and makes impression and decision about the brands and the products. So Google, it introduced this concept of zero moment of truth in 2011. So what is zero moment of truth? So zero moment of truth refers to the moment in the buying process when the consumers researches a product prior to purchase. So before buying it, so see here stimulus has happened. Now this is the first moment of truth when he actually sees it on the store or sees the advertisement or something like that, sees in the store, and this is the second moment where he actually uses it. So before that, so that is zero moment of truth. So when the consumer researches a product prior to purchase, so people are increasingly making these decisions at zero moment, the precise moment when they have a need, intent or question they want to answer online. So immediately it came to my mind, okay, I need this product, I need to buy new shoes. Immediately I will go on a website and I will try to search on Google what are the different options for the shoes, or what are the different options for say television. So once it will give me different options, then I will go to different shopping apps, I will try to compare the price and so on. So all these things is happening. So Google has categorized 4 zero moment of truths. I want to know moments. So when the consumer turns to the search engine and it is a knowledge based query. I want to go where I want to go. So it is a search to go, like petrol pump near me, or restaurant near me, or good hotels or economical hotels near me. So that is I want to go. I want to do something when they want to learn something, when they want to achieve something, how to make say pasta, how to make digital art. So that is I want to do moment. I want to buy moment is when they want to buy something. For example, I want to buy a shoes which is comfortable. I want to buy a running shoes. I want to buy a football shoes, something like that. So that is when the consumer turn to search to help them make a purchase. So this is the last slide, impact of digital technology on the consumer behavior analysis. So digital technology has a very impact on consumer behavior analysis. It helps in profiling the customers on their basis of their age, income, location, geographical location and all. So also it helps in developing the consumer personas. So personas is basically a fictional profile based on the research information that we get about the customer. For example, a tech savvy guy, urban guy who loves to have thrill, who enjoys football, or who have this disposable income. So all these are basically help us to understand the online customer characteristics and their behavior. So also it is possible to gather unsolicited feedback through their social media updates and all. Also there is availability for real time expert and peer influence, like the social media influencers are there. So even the company can have affiliate marketing and they can have their own influencers, so the consumer behavior are more get affected by those. So also with the digital technology, it is possible to use online data to target loyal offline customers also. So digital technology, it helps a lot in understanding the consumer behavior. It helps a lot in generating data and analyzing those data to understand and to serve the customer in a better way. So I hope I have made a sense in discussing the consumer behavior. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.